If you're on the East Coast, good afternoon. If you're on the left coast, that is the West Coast, good morning. I have a very important announcement to make. I gave you some hint yesterday in a podcast. But after over a year of trying Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and James Biden for bribery from Communist China, Ukraine, and Russia, and now, of course, recently we've learned Romania, as well as Joe Biden for negligent homicide, the citizens judge has handed down a memorandum opinion convicting them of those felony crimes. You can find this at freedomwatchusa.org, freedomwatchusa.org. I'll summarize briefly. In addition, we also have trials coming up in the future. We did try Dr. Anthony Fauci. The citizens judge is working on an opinion in that regard as well. He's been charged at a minimum with negligent homicide, just like Joe Biden was with regard to Afghanistan. And Biden has been convicted for that as well in terms of what went on in Afghanistan. This is important because the American people must now enforce the rule of law themselves.
We will.
That's not just man-made law, but it's the law of nature and nature's God, as it says in our Declaration of Independence. Because when, in the course of human events, the sovereign, in this case, our corrupt Gestapo-like Justice Department, no longer represents the people have a right, under the laws of nature and nature's God, to alter or abolish that government, and by extension, to take back their legal system, which is what occurred on July 4th, 1776, when King George took it away from us, our criminal justice system, and took it back to London. We have the right and the duty to enforce the rule of law. Fast forward to 1992. Justice Antonin Scalia issued a majority opinion for the Supreme Court in a case styled United States versus Williams. You can find that on our press release, which went out this morning. You can actually check it out. Just Google it. And you can also go to our website at freedomwatchusa.org. Is that the grand jury he held belongs to the American people, not the three branches of government. And therefore, by extension, we have control of our own legal system. It is not to the exclusion of what Congress enacted, however corrupt Congress may be as well, with regard to the Justice Department. It is in addition to. We have the right to try, to convict, to sentence, and to carry out those sentences. In fact, that's what we did in the Old West before there was a Justice Department on July 1st, 1870. We can proceed on a parallel track. Now, we have no ability at this point to influence a corrupt Justice Department run by a despot, Merrick Garland, a former so-called judge of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit, and his little lackey, who is more like Zelig in Woody Allen's movie. His name, of course, is Christopher Wray. He just does whatever he's told with regard to whoever is in power, and the two of them have not just been terrorizing January 6 peaceful protesters, not just parents at school board meetings, not just the Catholic and other faiths,
everybody,
and others that oppose the radical agenda of the left and Joe Biden, but anyone who criticizes this so-called government.
Facts.
So Freedom Watch, which does more than just get documents and expose things, we bring hard-hitting cases, we bring citizens' grand juries, we bring citizens' trials. We have brought this in the name of the American people. And when we got indictments of Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and James Biden, and the press release will tell you what date we did that. We did that on October 14, 2021, and you can find those indictments on our website at freedomwatchusa.org.
Go look it up.
We put all of the Bidens on notice, as well as Anthony Fauci at the time, that they could come and plead innocent, guilty, or nolo contendere. Nolo contendere means no contest. Of course, they ignored that. In fact, we notified them several times. They then, at the trial, did not show up. We also told them what date it would be. We told them when they could come. It was the first week in July. It continued thereafter with more information. They didn't show up to defend themselves. They could have asked for a jury. Since they didn't show up, we tried them in front of a judge. We could have, in fact, held them in default and not even had a trial. But we entered a plea of not guilty for them, and we proceeded to present information and evidence. Now, what is important is that even today they have an opportunity, because now that they've been convicted, and I'm just going to abbreviate because you can see exactly the memorandum of opinion. I want you to read it carefully, and I want you to spread it around. I want you to send it to people. The American people need to be educated that they have the right to enforce the rule of law themselves. Again, not just man law, but the law of God and nature's God.
You're getting arrested, Joe.
I want you to spread the word far and wide.
Citizens arrest.
But they are going to have an opportunity when they are sentenced on August 29, 2023, and we'll televise that, to come and to again wage a defense. We're going to open it up and let them do it. Of course, they won't appear because they have no respect for you. They have no respect for the American people.
But they want us
This is
in
the
court.
attitude, not just with regard to the Bidens, but virtually everybody in Washington, D.C., in particular, the swamp, that they are above the law. They're this little club, this inside club. They're the new American nobility. They don't have to answer to the American people.
They will.
Well, we know what happened in the days leading up to the French Revolution with Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette, when they said to the French people, "Après moi le déluge," after me, I couldn't give a flying, you know what, I'm going to cash in now. Well, Joe Biden has been cashing in, and Hunter Biden has been cashing in, and James Biden has been cashing in, and the entire Biden family has been cashing in with tens of millions of dollars of laundered money in a criminal racketeering enterprise for which they've been convicted, among other crimes, including the Foreign Agents Registration Act. You name it, got to read that conviction at freedomwatchusa.org. They have been cashing in. Joe Biden, who's never had a job in the private sector, is a multimillionaire owning many houses, many properties. He sits there with a smile and a grin, knowing that he can't be touched, because not only is there a Justice Department, which he controls, which has become a Gestapo, but you have cowardly, compromised Republicans who simply run around Capitol Hill like the Keystone Cops. Some of you are too young to remember, with their chickens without their heads on, saying, we're going to do X, Y, Z. Look at what we found, but they do nothing in the end. It's all about fundraising for the Republicans. It's all about trying to reacquire power. And then when they acquire power, they do little to nothing.
Right.
They haven't balanced the budget when they controlled all three branches of government. They didn't reform Obamacare in any major way when they had all three branches of government. They didn't give us the clarion calls on the disasters in Afghanistan and now in Ukraine. They are there for themselves. They are not there for the American people. They think they're super important. They wear their little congressional pins, whether it's the House of Representatives or otherwise. You got a Speaker of the House, frankly, who is a moron. I hate to say that, but he is. He's stupid. This is Kevin McCarthy, and he's compromised. He probably has traded in influence himself. In fact, most of them up there in Capitol Hill have as well, but not to the extent of Joe Biden, with tens of millions of dollars in all likelihood. But they will be held accountable too.
Yep.